For over 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood tall, taller than any human-made structure for nearly 4 millennia. It's ancient, massive, and so precisely engineered that even modern architects scratch their heads in disbelief. How did they do it? Today, we're diving into what archaeologists, engineers, and historians believe is the real story behind how the pyramids were built. No aliens needed. Let's start with one of the biggest misconceptions. The pyramids were not built by slaves. For decades, popular culture, from old Hollywood movies to textbooks, painted a picture of thousands of exhausted slaves dragged from their homes and forced to work under the desert sun. But archaeology tells a different story. In the 1990s, excavations near the Giza Plateau uncovered workers' villages, complete with bakeries, breweries, medical facilities, and organized housing. The skeletons found there showed signs not of cruelty, but medical care, including healed bone fractures. These weren't slaves, they were paid laborers, many of them skilled craftsmen. Most were farmers who worked in rotating shifts, especially during the Nile flood season, when their fields were underwater and farming paused. The Pyramid Project wasn't just construction, it was a national effort, a source of pride, and a way for Egyptians to honor their pharaoh and the gods. So how many people did it take? Contrary to the dramatic images of hundreds of thousands of workers swarming the desert, experts now estimate 20,000 to 30,000 workers for the Great Pyramid, not 100,000, not a million. This group included stonecutters, transport crews, rope specialists, engineers, surveyors, architects, bakers, and brewers, medical teams, supervisors and scribes. It was basically a mini-city dedicated entirely to pyramid building, running with military-level efficiency. If you imagine lasers and levitation devices, sorry, this story is still human, but the tools they did use were brilliant in their simplicity. Copper tools. Most carving was done using copper chisels, saws, drills, and dolerite pounding stones, which is this incredibly tough, volcanic rock. Copper might sound weak, but with constant sharpening and replacement, it was incredibly effective. Precision surveying instruments. Egyptians used merkets, which were early sighting tools, kind of like a cross, between a plumb line and a star compass. They also used gromas to lay perfectly straight lines, and leveling tools, using water, which always finds a perfectly flat plane. And here's the shocking part. The Great Pyramid's sides differ in length by less than 5 centimeters. This is engineering precision equal to or better than many modern building projects. Okay, now let's talk about the challenge that fascinates everyone. How did they move all that stone? The Great Pyramid alone contains over 2.3 million blocks, many weighing from 2 to 15 tons. Some granite beams in the King's Chamber weigh 70 tons, and were transported from Aswan, 500 miles away. So how did they do it? The sleds. Egyptians didn't roll stones on logs. The evidence shows they used wooden sledges. But here's the detail that changes everything. They poured water in front of the sleds. Wall paintings in the tomb of Jehuti-Hotep show workers pulling a statue slab while someone is pouring liquid on the sand. For years, people thought this was ceremonial. Then physicists realized adding water cuts friction in half. Suddenly, sliding multi-ton blocks becomes physically possible with teams of workers. Artificial roads. Archaeologists have found remnants of packed clay roads, ramps, and lubricated pathways. These allowed massive stones to be transported with surprising efficiency. Let's address the elephant, or pyramid, in the room. What kind of ramp did they use? Many types have been proposed, but we'll focus on the 3 most plausible. Option 1. The straight ramp, a long straight ramp leading up one side. Pros pas. Simple concept, easily supported with evidence of similar ramps elsewhere. Cons. To reach the 146-meter height of the Great Pyramid, the ramp would need to be over a mile long to stay at a climbable incline. That's more material than the pyramid itself. It just doesn't add up. Option 2. The zigzag ramp. A ramp built up the pyramid's face, switching directions. Pros. Requires far less material, fits the pyramid footprint, supported by some archaeological findings. Cons. harder to maintain precision at upper levels. Option 3. The internal ramp, the most exciting model. French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin proposed that the Egyptians built a long, straight ramp for the lower third, then switched to a spiraling internal ramp inside the pyramid. There's indirect evidence. Infrared scans show temperature anomalies consistent with hollow internal passages. Sections of the interior walls appear to include small openings, potential turning points in a ramp system. This theory solves multiple problems. No enormous outer ramp needed. Precision maintained by working right along the pyramid's edges. Stones could be hoisted with simple levers and manpower. Though not universally accepted, it aligns with modern engineering logic. Even with ramps, the heavy lifting wasn't simple. Egyptians used counterweighted levers, wooden cranes for fine adjustments, and fulcrums and pulley-like systems, though, actual pulleys were pretty rare. When a block reached a new level, small teams of workers could lever it up just inches at a time, sliding wood shims underneath until it rested in place. This slow but reliable method was repeated millions of times. One of the most mind-blowing facts about the Great Pyramid is its alignment. The structure is within 1/15 of a degree aligned to true north, perfectly leveled to within a few centimeters, and its sides form almost perfect right angles. How? By using the stars. Specifically, the Egyptians observed the circumpolar stars, those that never set, and the alignment of Kochab and Mizar around 2500 BCE. Using these celestial markers, they established true north with stunning accuracy. No GPS required. Then they used water trenches to level the foundation. Water, after all, naturally finds a flat plane, allowing them to create a perfectly even base. Originally, the Great Pyramid wasn't the sandy color we see today. It was covered in smooth, polished Tura limestone, which reflected the sunlight brilliantly. Imagine it, a massive white monument blazing in the desert sun. Some researchers believe it could be seen from dozens of miles away. A symbol of divine power. At the very top sat the pyramidion, likely made of granite, basalt, or even covered in gold or electrum, which is a gold-silver alloy. This capstone would have glowed like a beacon. Beyond the technical marvel, the pyramids had deep cultural meaning. Egyptians believed the pyramid was a stairway for the pharaoh's soul, a physical representation of the primordial mound of creation, and a symbol of the sun god Ra. Building a pyramid wasn't just a royal project, it was a spiritual mission, one that unified the kingdom. Even with all the engineering solved, the most astonishing achievement might be the organization. Consider this: quarrying, transporting, cutting and trimming blocks, feeding thousands of workers daily, maintaining housing, sanitation, and medical care, tracking every stone's placement, and coordinating teams across multiple sites for 20 years straight. This required bureaucracy, skilled leadership, advanced mathematics, and really, an entire nation cooperating for a single monumental goal. In many ways, the pyramids are not just monuments to pharaohs, they're monuments to human coordination. The pyramids were not built overnight, they were not built by slaves, and no, there's no evidence they were built by aliens. They were built by people, brilliant, organized, determined people, who combined simple tools with revolutionary ideas and epic national ambition. When you strip away the myths, the truth becomes even more incredible. The pyramids are a testament to what human beings can accomplish when they unite behind a vision. If you enjoyed this deep dive into ancient engineering, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What mystery of ancient history should we uncover next?